where we dive into the randomness of internet. And today I'm excited because first of all, I got a new 3D printer, and it's been amazing. I printed two things so far, and I love the first one I printed. This is I think they call it lithograph, and it's nice because if you use you can basically use any photo, and then you can go to a website. There are a bunch of them, and you can like just upload your photo, and it will spit out the code which you can use to feed your 3D printer and print it out. And the best part is like when you put this against like any source of light, you will see the light coming through those engraved photo or text. And yeah, I'm very happy how this came about. I mean, for the first time, I'm sure I'm gonna print more of those, and create like a better flow. And the second thing I printed, which was just few minutes back, is this. It's a it's a phone stand. So I observed, like, as a comic, I want a good phone stand which I can use at my performances. I mean, like initially when I started printing this out, it was a bit bigger than I was thinking. So I had to like stop the program, like rescale and print it again. And I bet like while rescaling, I didn't account for the space to hold the phone. So now that it's printed, I can't put my current phone, at least not with the case. But I got like my old phone, and once I take off the case, I can at least put it, and once it's on the table or something, it's gonna be stable, and I can record videos of my performances without needing like any extra stand or tripod. Well, I mean, this is stand, but this is kind of also compact, so I can just carry it with me anywhere. And I got this like keychain ring in it, so this feels uh, like a good project, and I'm super excited how this shaped out to be, and the next version gonna be better for sure. The exciting part about that phone stand was like I designed everything on my own, and it turned out good for the first time, like starting from scratch and without any 3D modeling experience per se, and like coming up with that kind of design. I love it. And I was also able to kind of like print my brand's logo and name. So I can create my brand just by having this 3D printer. I mean, this is mind-boggling. I can't tell you how pleasantly surprised and excited I am to live in this timeline, because I never even thought about like buying a 3D printer, but now the prices are so low, or at least I got a good deal. So I was like, well, why not? Let's give it a try, because I always was fascinated with the capabilities of 3D printers. Right now we have 3D printers of all types. 3D printers which can print houses, 3D printers which can print food, 3D printer which can melt or meld, or maybe or print metals. So it is a very uh, I would say like we are going in a whole different era of technology. I mean, on one side we have this digital technology with regards to all the virtual world we are connected with, and then on the other end we are also evolving these physical technology like the 3D printers or robots or anything which you can use. Even to a larger degree, like phones and devices, everything is physical, right? Like without having a physical device, you can't do anything with your virtual world. So at least not yet, but even down the road, like if we ever evolve to a point where, or if we ever become comfortable to a place where we want to install chips in our mind, it still need that physical device to interface between its software and maybe the software of the reality, which is consciousness. So who knows? It's gonna be a wild ride, and also it's gonna be an unconquered territory, at least unconquered in the physical sense. Let me explain what I mean. So I believe that there are tools and technology which already exist, which enables people to connect with their flow, with their consciousness at a deeper level. And those tools are meditation, or psychoactive substances, or good workout, or going in the flow for your art or whatever you care for. And all of those are tools. Like music is a tool to get into that state. Uh, and all of those tools does require a lot of work, to be honest. I mean, especially when it comes down to meditation, it's not easy to yeah, to focus on your existing thoughts and be aware of it, and then bring back your thoughts to a one focal point. It's not easy. If it were, everyone would doing it. But it's easier to get distracted by thousands and maybe millions of newer things, which, touch our bubble of reality, and we get lost in that. So it's just having that tool where we can like just focus on one particular point, like meditation, using meditation, or using music, or psychoactive substances, or so many different ways to focus on just one thing, or even with your sheer willpower. You might be stuck in a situation where you don't want to do what you want to do, meaning like it could be like work related or education, where you're like you're not even interested in that project remotely, but you have to do it. So if you kind of like supercharge yourself and just focus yourself on that one particular project, you're going to feel better about it once you finish it up. And a lot of people do that, but they use different tools like coffee, and other um, substances like Adderall, I believe. So all of these tools are just a way to connect to that consciousness of reality. And with the newer evolution of, say, mind scanning hardwares and technology, like mind reading or brain reading technology in chips, we would be able to connect to that consciousness at a deeper level. Who knows? Like we may be able to like control a lot of our stimulus by using those chipsets. Like for instance, if I have a chip installed on my brain, I could suppress one emotion over the other. I could maybe even suppress like my senses, right? Like I can just quiet my like suppress all the sound I'm hearing through my ears, so I can just suppress it, and then won't hear anything until I want to hear back, and I can like just change the setting again, something on that line. Obviously I had never thought this through, but I feel like that is possible. If you can like if you have a chip in your brain and you can maybe suppress like a particular sense. So maybe if you want to just feel like pitch darkness for whatever reason, you can like suppress that, or like silence. Or if you don't want to feel a cold, you can like suppress that, and your body will still be experiencing the harsh weather, but your brain will not be processing it, so you technically won't be feeling it. It again, I don't think that's a good idea per se, at least not everywhere, but it could be useful process. Like for instance, like if I want to just quiet all the noises around me, just to focus on maybe like a writing or reading or something, then I can do that like without wearing a headphone or something. And who knows, like even with those chips, we don't have to wear any headphones or anything. Like we can just like stream anything we want to listen to directly in our brain, and that I don't know how that would feel like. It's this is all uncharted territory. Maybe people have experienced different flavors of this during their intense meditation or say sauna or like some sort of like a practice. Um, but it'll be fascinating to see how regular people would be able to switch between these different states without technically earning it, because if we have like a chip installed, then we are getting to a state by a click of a button, and someone else, maybe like a monk who meditated for decades, uh, have went through like all the learning experiences and that process to get to a level, and we got there just by a click of a button. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Who knows? I mean, is the virtual world we are living in, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Like in order to say connect with hundreds of people back in the, or let me rephrase, like back in the day, in order to connect with hundreds of people, you would have to personally, interact with them. You have to have a meaningful conversation, and on top of that, you have to um, you won't be able to maintain that for a long period, because you will be interacting with that individual only when you both are in a shared space, I guess. But once you're away, then you can still write letters, or maybe like communicate using telegraph or maybe telephone. I mean, telephone itself is like 50 years back, old technology or whatnot. But the point being that the means of communication and the means to stay connected with people was very scarce. But right now, I can connect with millions of people just with my thought. Like right now, I'm streaming this, and I don't know if anyone is watching it, but potentially whoever gonna watch this down the line, I'm connecting with you right here. Who would have thought that without knowing you, I can connect with you? I can implant some of my thoughts and ideas into your mind, as I'm doing right now. So it's a fascinating frontier. But also, people who don't know how to balance it out will have a lot of trouble. And I mean, I I would like to think that I'm good at managing my awareness and some of my emotions better than I used to back in the day, and honestly better than a lot of other people too. But it's all situational. It's not a quality which everyone gonna carry all the time. Like if you ran into someone who is an asshole, and if you don't know them, then probably they are going through some things, and that made them react in that particular way in that instance. It could be situational triggering. But if you know them and they are like that all the times, then that's their personality to a degree, and they have a choice. They can change it or not. But the bigger point is that we all act or react in different ways depending on our situations, depending on what's going on within our own mind, as well as all the other labels which we wear. uh, and it's it's okay. It's the most human thing to go through, and the only thing you can do is like get better at it, like just by being aware and just not like reacting, and maybe like understanding the situation first before you kind of act in a way you want to act. And I'm not there yet personally, but I know that I'm on the path to there. I got like so much better than I was, who knows, like 5, 10, 15 years back. And that also comes with age, maybe with more experiences and whatnot. But I think like I had some of these qualities since since I can remember, like I was always sort of patient, well, at least in the things I want to be patient in, but at the same time, I was like pretty reactionary in the things which I don't know. And that seems to be like the normal pattern with like a lot of people too. Like, when you know things, you are calm, you're like, grounded. When you don't know things, that anxiety kind of like takes you to places where you kind of like, act in a certain way because you don't know the situation. You haven't been, um, 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 yeah, you haven't been exposed to anything remotely to that situation. So everything is new to you. So you're trying to figure it out. And those moments are also one of the best things which could happen to anyone, right? Because if you're thrown into a mix of random thing or which you haven't experienced like ever, then first of all, you get to see how you are reacting in that situation, and that could help you to grow. And on top of that, like just learning that situation, um, now you have some sort of experience to deal with similar situation down the road. So either way, it's helpful, and I believe kids are, yeah, maybe teenagers too, have this more in them, like definitely kids where they're like curious about different things and they throw themselves in to just to kind of learn and figure out and experiment. And that's one of the other reasons why kids are fast learners compared to grown adults, because uh, we are not um, we are not like flexible with our mindsets most of the time. So we think in a particular way and have this whole process in our mind and act accordingly. And at the same time, biology isn't forgiving either. So our brain stops developing after a certain age. So we are sort of stuck with the brain we have, even though we can change great part of it. I would say like again, this is coming out of no research, but I would say we can change at least 50 to 70% of our brain in adulthood. At least I'm sure we can do even more. And the reason why I'm saying that is because once we understand that something is important for our, say, life situation or for our personal fulfillment or whatever, then we tend to take more action in that direction. And more action always comes with more failures. And people who take more actions are also accepting of their failures, just like kids are. And that kind of turn into a new way to process things, new way to look at the things, and change the way you used to be a few years back. And that's the only thing which makes this life livable. I mean, different people find purpose in different things, mostly religion and their biological legacy. But I feel that I can speak for myself. I personally am fulfilled when I do the things I want to do, and especially when I kind of like hustle through it, like put myself in a situation where I have like no clue, and then come out on the other side, at least learning few things, or at least tying it up with my past experience. And the past experience always help you. It becomes kind of this foundation. So um, if you don't have good foundation, then this is the time to build one, and it will take some time. But once you have a solid foundation, you're gonna build like buildings like this. You're gonna build floors on top of that foundation within no time. And um, it's so true. Like when you look in the nature too, right? Like the trees, they I bet they grow in both direction, but the trees which have like a more grip in their roots grow to be taller, because those roots are strong. It can it can provide all the nourishment to the entire tree, and also could get all the energy it needs from the tree, like through leaves and whatnot. So that such a beautiful process, and those roots in um, in turn connects with the roots of other trees, and using mycelium and other microorganisms have this whole chemical communication between with the other trees, and that itself kind of like reflect how and why we need community. And that's true for like almost every species. I know I'm a bit loner when it comes down to human species, I guess, but and also there are like lone animals out there, like octopus, or could be like lone wolf, or lone tiger, or maybe lion. I don't know if male tigers. I bet like all feline species, definitely lions. The male lions kind of lead the herd, and the female lions kind of like carry the entire herd together. So, uh, females, shout out to females for keeping the community bonded together. But we, as a species, figured out how to kind of like live with other people. May not be like all the people, but at least the people you personally can tolerate with, like, and or which you call as a community, and that community could be defined by so many different labels. It could be based on what you do, based on who you think you are, or based on which place you were born into. So there's so many factors which define that community, uh, but that community is like so innately grilled within our evolution, and you can find that in all the other species as well. And like I said, most of the species, and that's what mycelium provides, like the communication, or the symbiotic relationship between mycelium and the roots of the trees lead to more um prosperity of the entire jungle. And I uh, to a certain degree, I'm hoping to kind of um, okay. Here's the thing. I just want to be a beacon, just a beacon of who I am, and let the community come and connect to me. And that's the only thing I how I can define my process. Like I don't care about like actively. I mean, I want to connect with people and build community, but I don't like care about like actively reaching out to like a bunch of different people with like cold email and cold messages and whatnot. And there are people who does that and they implement it beautifully, and all kudos to you. But my personality is a bit different, and although I do reach out to people every now and then, but overall, I feel that I want to just be me, and like just be a beacon, and let people kind of like create the path for the people to connect with me. And um, and having that sense of community definitely helps. I mean, it helps to make life live more um, uh, enrichingly, I guess. And like I said, digital age have transformed the way we look at the things and how we interact with each other. And shout out to all of these platforms for playing a vital role in our day-to-day life. Each of these platforms, I mean, even Twitter, yes. There are a lot of good threads and tweets on Twitter. Reddit is one of my favorites. Wikipedia is amazing. The amount of value it adds to each and everyone's life is incountable. Um, YouTube, I mean, come on, you're probably are streaming this on YouTube, and I don't have to tell you um, how enriching YouTube is to humanity as a whole, because people not only post their live stories, which could be interesting to different people. For me personally, I was able to set up my 3D printer. I was able to create these gorgeous prints just because I have access to YouTube. I mean, the amount of knowledge YouTube and other media as well, but uh, the amount of knowledge YouTube has is mind blowing. I could just go on YouTube and look up for like a particular error or a hurdle I was interacting, and I could find like ton of videos on that, and I can like filter it out based on like, hey, based on the videos from the past year, because my machine, my 3D printer could be of a different iteration of the same model, and there you go. There are like people who are still having the same problem, and they posted that solution on YouTube. First of all, they posted it knowing that there are other YouTubers who have done and posted that. So, in addition to um, um, adding to what someone else have done, like contributing or building on top of someone else's progress, uh, also laying it out for others to follow, and that's the beauty of YouTube. And I'm hoping to accomplish to a degree just that with this live stream, because honestly, I want to get to a place where I can just go and do like my comedy mics and shows every single day without any other thing in mind. And in order to get to that place, feel that I gotta not only I gotta like improve my skill set, but also at the same time I have to discover who I am, and this live stream is the process to do just that. Just having this unlimited attention, because I don't know how many people, if any, are watching this, but in my mind, this camera is my audience, right? So, uh, I mean, even though camera is just a medium to connect with you, but I can just look at this and talk with it to it for like ever without worrying about like anything else. And that's the beauty of technology. And on and these platforms like IMDb, it gives you good insight. I wouldn't say like every reviews on IMDb is perfect or close to what the movie actually is, but it still gives you an insight into okay, what the movie could feel like, and having that insight can make you either choose to watch one content over the other, and watching a particular content can change how you look at the thing, at least in that moment, or at least how you feel for sure, right? Like if you're watching some terrifying content, then you feel terrified, and likewise when you watch something romantic, you feel romanticized, I guess. So it's there's a reason why people crave for this, to be entertained or to just kind of like listen without without actively contributing, and which is exactly what you guys are doing, just listening to me ranting here without actively contributing, at least right now. Maybe you can leave a comment, that would be nice. But those reviews help the filmmakers and entertainers to get better. At least if those are honest reviews. Um, I like Goodreads as well. It's a great collection of, again, reviews for books, and you can just review, or you can just well, let me take a step back. It Different people have different point of view about this, especially when it comes down to books, because a lot of people think that no matter what kind of book you are reading, you'll gain something out of it. And I don't think that's true. Although reading might be better than say watching, or just going through endless stream of social media, but still what you're reading matters the most, because just like any other technology, book is a technology which can change and shape the way you see and feel about different things in the world. So it is a powerful technology, but it's not for everyone, obviously. And knowing what kind of books you are into uh, is a good window into where do you see yourself and how you want to live your life. And just knowing that there are like ton of different readers out there who have read the book you're interested in, and they have also sort of reviewed their own point of view on that. It gives you a good good lens to kind of figure out if you really want to read that book, and especially someone like me who takes forever to read one book. I want to get into a book where um, I I should be surprised, but at the same time, I know it's helped other people with whatever they're going through. Uh, I mean, everyone have different goals, right? So pick your goal. But Goodreads is great for that. And my recent edition, The Onion, in this wheel or in this list is one of the parody websites which I love. I mean, I occasionally just browse through the Onion, or see their post on Twitter or Instagram, and it's like plenty of times it's good. They have like a good sense of the society. I won't say they are not biased. They have their own biases, and I can feel that. But at the same time, the humor, out of like 100 things they post, maybe like a couple of them have like a good twist to it and whatnot, and I love that. And that also kind of make me think that comedy is not easy. It's the most difficult art form when it comes down to like public speaking. Um, but like I said, I do it not because it's easy. I do it because it's difficult. So all right, so let's get started because I have only 20 minutes. Because damn it, I gotta leave for one of the shows. So I'm hoping it lands on, well, Goodreads is all right. Goodreads is perfect actually because it gives us 28 minutes to talk about it. All right, deciding what to read next. Okay, let's do that. Let's check out what others are reading. If it, okay, never mind. I thought they're gonna come up with like some sort of list, but what do I want to check out? Best books 2022. Hell yeah, why not? Best books of 2022. Well, announcing the winners of the 14th annual Goodreads Choice Awards, the only major book awards decided by readers. Congratulations to the best books of the year. Okay. Best fiction goes to Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow with 90,971 votes. And the book is written by Gabrielle Zevin. And the author, Gabrielle Zevin, brought a new kind of love story into the world with her universally admired novel about life. Okay, so clearly it's not Gabrielle, it's Gabriella. The second I said that, I was like, dummy, it's a Gabriella. It's gotta be. All right, so Best Fiction Award goes to Gabriella Zevin for Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And she got that because of 90,971 votes. So let's check out what's that book about. In an exhilarating novel by the best-selling author of the storied life of A.J. Fikri, two friends, often in love but never lovers, come together as creative partners in the world of video game design, where success brings them fame, joy, tragedy, duplicity, and ultimately a kind of immortality. On a bitter cold day, in the December of his junior year at Harvard, Sam Moser exits a subway car and sees, amid the hordes of people waiting on the platform, Sadie Green. He calls her name. For a moment, she pretends she hasn't heard him, but then she turns and a game begins. A legendary collaboration that will launch them to stardom. These friends, intimate since childhood, borrow money, beg favors, and before even graduating college, they have created their first blockbuster, Ichigo. Overnight, the world is theirs. Not even 25 years old, Sam and Sadie are brilliant, successful, and rich. But these qualities won't protect them from their own creative ambitions or the betrayals of their hearts. Spanning 30 years from Cambridge, Massachusetts to Venice Beach, California, and lands in between and far beyond, Gabriella Zevin's Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow is a dazzling and intricately imagined novel that examines the multifarious nature of identity, disability, failure, the redemptive possibilities in play, and above all, our need to connect, to be loved, and to love. Yes, it is a love story, but it is not one you have read before. All right, Gabriella, congratulations. And there were like a lot of other nominations. Jodie Picoult for Wish You Were Here, Frederick Backman for The Winners. Unfortunately, Frederick Backman wasn't the winner. I know. I'm sorry, Frederick. That was rude. Let's see. Mystery and thriller. Where are we? Okay, so next, let's go to best mystery and thriller, and the winner is Nita Prose for her book The Maid, and she won because of 78,403 people think this is the best book of 2022. Let's check out what that book about. The Maid by Nita Prose. Molly Gray is not like everyone else. She struggles with social skills and misreads the intentions of others. Her gran used to interpret the world for her, codifying it into simple rules that Molly could live by. Since Gran died a few months ago, 25-year-old Molly has been navigating life's complexities all by herself. No matter, she throws herself with gusto into her work as a hotel maid. Her unique character, along with her obsessive love of cleaning and proper etiquette, make her an ideal fit for the job. She delights in donning her crisp uniform each morning, stocking her cart with miniature soap and bottles, and returning guest rooms at the Regency Grand Hotel to a state of perfection. But Molly's orderly life is upended the day she enters the suite of the infamous and wealthy Charles Black, only to find it in a state of disarray, and Mr. Black himself dead in his bed. Before she knows what's happening, Molly's unusual demeanor has the police targeting her as their lead suspect. She quickly finds herself caught in a web of deception, one she has no idea how to untangle. Fortunately for Molly, friends she never knew she had unite with her in a search for clues to what really happened to Mr. Black. But will they be able to find the real killer before it's too late? A clue. Like Locked Room Mystery and a heartwarming journey of the spirit, The Maid explores what it means to be the same as everyone else and yet entirely different, and reveals that all mysteries can be solved through connection to the human heart. All right, Nita, congratulations for winning the best mystery and thriller. Let's check out historical fiction. And the award goes to Taylor Jenkins Reid for her book Carrie Soto is Black. Oh, Carrie Soto is back. Damn it. I'm if I create a bloopers for all the student things which I mispronounced and whatnot, I bet like maybe 10% of my life would have been, yeah, just bloopers, I guess. So yeah, quite a bit. Um all right, the best historical fiction award goes to Taylor Jenkins Reid for her book Carrie Soto is Back. Let's check out what's this about. In this powerful novel about the cost of greatness, a legendary athlete attempts a comeback when the world considers her past her prime. From the New York Times best-selling author of Malibu Rising, Carrie Soto is fierce, and her determination to win at any cost has not made her popular. But by the time she retires from tennis, she is the best player the world has ever seen. She has shattered every record and claimed 20 Grand Slam titles. And if you ask Carrie, she is entitled to everyone. She sacrificed nearly everything to become the best, with her father, Xavier, as her coach. A former champion himself, Xavier has trained her since the age of 2. But 6 years after her retirement, Carrie finds herself sitting in the stands of the 1994 US Open, watching her record to be taken from her by a brutal, stunning player named Nikki Chan. At 37 years old, Carrie makes the monumental decision to come out of retirement and be coached by her father for one last year in an attempt to reclaim her record. Even if the sports media says that they never liked the battle axe anyway, even if her body doesn't move as fast as it did, and even if it means swallowing her pride to train with the man she once almost opened her heart to, Bowie Huntley. Like her, he has something to prove before he gives up the game forever. In spite of it all, Carrie Soto is back for one epic final season. In this riveting and unforgettable novel, Taylor Jenkins Reid tells her most vulnerable, emotional story yet. Congratulations, Taylor. You've done good job with 4.2 rating and over 24,000 reviewers. That's that's a good accomplishment. Uh, all right, let's check out the fantasy. And the winner for the best fantasy is Sarah J. Maas for her book House of Sky and Breath. House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. Bruce Quinlan and Hunt Atalar are trying to get back to normal. They may have saved Crescent City, but with so much upheaval in their lives lately, they mostly want a chance to relax, slow down, figure out what the future holds. The Asteri have kept their word so far, leaving Bruce and Hunt alone. But with the rebels chipping away at the Asteri's power, the threat the rulers pose is growing. As Bruce, Hunt, and their friends get pulled into the rebels' plans, the choice becomes clear: stay silent while others are oppressed, or fight for what's right. And they have never been very good at staying silent. In this sexy, action packed sequel to the number one bestseller House of Earth and Blood, Sarah J. Maas weaves a captivating story of a world about to explode and the people who will do anything to save it. All right, Sarah, congratulations for winning the Fantasy Award with for your book House of Sky and Breath. Wow, 4.51 reviews with 27,000 reviewers. That's nice. That's more than nice. I mean, come on, what I'm saying. 4.5 with 24,000 reviewers and over 170,000 people who just rated it, I guess. That's people. Check this book out. Romance category, and the winner is Emily Henry for her book Lovers. Okay. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. One summer, two rivals, a plot twist they didn't see coming. Nora Stevens' life is books. She's read them all, and she is not that type of heroine, not the plucky one, not the laid back dream girl, and especially not the sweetheart. In fact, the only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, for whom she lands enormous deals as a cutthroat literary agent and her beloved little sister Libby, which is why she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina for the month of August when Libby begs her for a sister's trip away. With visions of a small town transformation for Nora, who she's convinced needs to become the heroine or heroine in her own story, but instead of picnics in meadows or run ins with a handsome country doctor or bulging four armed bartender, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie Lustra, a bookish, brooding editor from back in the city. It would be a meet cute if not for the fact that they have met many times and it's never been cute. If Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero. But as they are thrown together again and again, in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they have written about themselves. Congratulations, Emily. Now let's go to science fiction. And the winner is Emily St. John Mandel for her book Sea of Tranquility with 59,920 votes. What's the second one? 47,544 votes. The runner up was the daughter of Dr. Moreu. And the third in the list is Nona the Ninth. Okay, so Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. New York Times bestseller, winner of the Goodreads Choice Award, the award-winning best-selling author of Station 11 and The Glass Hotel, returns with a novel of art, time travel, love, and plague that takes the reader from Vancouver Island in 1912 to a dark colony on the moon 500 years later, unfurling a story of humanity across centuries and space. One of the best books of the year, the New York Times NPR Goodreads, one of Mandel's finest novels and one of her most satisfying forays into the arena of speculative fiction yet. The New York Times' Edwin St. Andrew is 18 years old when he crosses the Atlantic by steamship, exiled from polite society following an ill-conceived diatribe at a dinner party. He enters the forest, spellbound by the beauty of the Canadian wilderness, and suddenly hears the notes of a violin echoing in an airship terminal. An experience that shocks him to his core. 2 centuries later, a famous writer named Olive Llewellyn is on a book tour. She's traveling all over Earth, but her home is the second moon colony, a place of white stone, spired towers, and artificial beauty. Within the text of Olive's best-selling pandemic novel lies a strange passage. A man plays his violin for change in the echoing corridor of an airship terminal as the trees of a forest rise around him. When Gaspari Jacques Roberts, a detective in the black-skied night city, is hired to investigate an anomaly in the North American wilderness, he uncovers a series of lives upended. The exiled son of an earl driven to madness, a writer trapped far from home as a pandemic ravages Earth, and a childhood friend from the Night City who, like Gasperi himself, has glimpsed the chance to do something extraordinary that will disrupt the timeline of the universe. A virtuoso performance that is as human and tender as it is intellectually playful. Sea of Tranquility is a novel of time travel and metaphysics that precisely captures the reality of our current moment. Whoo! Good job, Emily. Congratulations. Now see who won the most horrific? No, the best book on horror. So the winner for the best horror book is Jason Rekulak for his book Hidden Pictures, gaining 35,457 votes. And if you're wondering what that book about, wonder no more. Because Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak and is a mystery about a woman working as a nanny for a young boy with strange and disturbing secrets. Fresh out of rehab, Mallory Quinn takes a job in the affluent suburb of Springbrook, New Jersey, as a babysitter for Ted and Carolyn Maxwell. She is to look after their 5-year-old son, Teddy. Mallory immediately loves this new job. She lives in the Maxwell's pool house, goes out for nightly runs, and has the stability she craves. And she sincerely bonds with Teddy, a sweet, shy boy who is never without his sketchbook and pencil. His drawings are the usual fare: trees, rabbits, balloons. But one day, he draws something different: a man in a forest, dragging a woman's lifeless body. As the days pass, Teddy's artwork becomes more and more sinister, and his stick figures steadily evolve into more detailed, complex, and lifelike sketches well beyond the ability of any 5-year-old. Mallory begins to suspect these are glimpses of an unsolved murder from long ago, perhaps relayed by a supernatural force lingering in the forest behind the Maxwell's house. With help from a handsome landscaper and eccentric neighbor, Mallory sets out to decipher the images and save Teddy, while coming to terms with a tragedy in her own past. Before it's too late. All right, Jason. Congratulations. The next category for the humor. The best humor book goes to Jenna Fisher, who plays Angela Kinsey in The Office BFFs, Tales of the Office from Two Best Friends Who Were There. Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, though, they played like amazing characters in The Office. And if you haven't watched The Office, I mean, you are missing out. All right, the book. The Office BFFs, Tales of the Office from Two Best Friends Who Were There. An intimate, behind-the-scene, richly illustrated celebration of beloved The Office co-stars Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey's friendship, and an insider's view of Pam Beesly, Angela Martin, and the unforgettable cast of the hit series' iconic characters, featuring many never-before-seen photos. Receptionist Pam Beesly and accountant Angela Martin had very little in common when they toiled together at Sacraton's Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. But in reality, the two bonded in their very first days on set and, over the 9 seasons of the series run, built a friendship that transcended the show and continues to this day. Sharing everything from what it was like in the early days as the show struggled to gain traction to walking their first red carpet, plus exclusive stories on the making of milestone episodes and how their lives changed when they became moms. The Office BFFs is full of the same warm and friendly tone Jenna and Angela have brought to their Office Ladies podcast. Hell yeah. Jenna and Angela. I mean, this sounds like amazing book with well 1700 reviewers, sure, but 4.3 rating, and uh, I might check it out like in one of those bookstores, at least to see the illustration and see what was um, what was the unseen photos about. All right, the next book, the next category is nonfiction, and I mostly read nonfiction, so I'm kind of waiting for. I was waiting for this category, and um, don't know what kind of nonfiction it's gonna be. So let's check it out. The best nonfiction award was won by Brené Brown. Hell yeah, for her book Atlas of the Heart, mapping meaningful connection and the language of human experience. Yeah, I'm a fan of Brené Brown. I still have one of her books just on my shelf there. Yeah, Daring Greatly. That's yeah. I'm sure most of the people have seen her TED talk, which was based on like vulnerability and whatnot, and it's a great listen. Um, and I don't know why this book is not loading. There you go. Atlas of the Heart, Mapping Meaningful Connection and the Language of Human Experience by Brené Brown. In Atlas of the Heart, Brown takes us on a journey through 87 of the emotions and experiences that define what it means to be human. As she maps in necessary skills and an actionable framework for meaningful connection, she gives us the language and tools to access a universe of new choices and second chances. A universe where we can share and steward the stories of our bravest and most heartbreaking moments with one another in a way that builds connection. Over the past 2 decades, Brown's extensive research into the experiences that make us who we are has shaped the cultural conversation and helped define what it means to be courageous with our lives. Atlas for the Heart draws on this research as well as on Brown's singular skills as a storyteller to show us how accurately naming an experience doesn't give the experience more power. It gives us the power of understanding, meaning, and choice. Brown shares, I want this book to be an atlas for all of us because I believe that with an adventurous heart and the right maps, we can travel anywhere and never fear losing ourselves. Yeah, she's great with words. Uh, who knows? I might check this out down the road. Still have to read so many books. I'm not even actively reading, and that sucks. I should. All right. So the next category is memoir and autobiography, and the award for the best memoir and autobiography goes to Janet McCurdy for her book I'm Glad My Mom Died. I'm Glad My Mom Died, Janet McCurdy. A heartbreaking and hilarious memoir by iCarly and Sam and Cat star Janet McCurdy about her struggles as a former child actor, including eating disorders, addiction, and a complicated relationship with her overbearing mother, and how she retook control of her life. Janet McCurdy was 6 years old when she had her first acting audition. Her mother's dream was for her only daughter to become a star, and Janet would do anything to make her mother happy. So she went along with what mom called calorie restriction, eating little and weighing herself 5 times a day. She endured extensive at home makeovers with mom chided. Your eyelashes are invisible, okay? You think Dakota Fanning doesn't tint hers? She was even showered by mom until age 6 teen while sharing her diaries, email, and all her income. In I'm Glad My Mom Died, Janet recounts all this in unflinching detail, just as she chronicles what happens when the dream finally comes true. Cast in a new Nickelodeon series called iCarly, she is thrust into fame. Though Mom is eccentric, emailing fan club moderators and getting on a first name basis with the paparazzi. Hi, Gail. Janet is riddled with anxiety, shame, and self loathing, which manifest into eating disorders, addiction, and a sense of unhealthy relationships. These issues only get worse when, soon after taking the lead in the iCarly spin off Sam and Cat alongside Ariana Grande, her mother dies of cancer. Finally, after discovering therapy and quitting acting, Janet embarks on recovery and decides for the first time in her life what she really wants. Told with refreshing candor and dark humor, I'm Glad My Mom Died is an inspiring story of resilience, independence, and the joy of shampooing your own hair. Congratulations, Janet. I mean, all right, the next category is history and biography. And the winner is Hugh Lumey for his book Bad Gays, A Homosexual History, with 22,711 votes. Okay, so Bad Gays, A Homosexual History by Hugh Lumey. Too many popular histories seek to establish heroes, pioneers, and martyrs, but as Hugh Lemmy and Ben Miller argue, the past is filled with queer people whose sexualities and dastardly deeds have been overlooked. We all remember Oscar Wilde, but who speaks for Bosie? What about those bad gays whose unexemplary lives reveals more than we might expect? Part revisionist history, part historical biography, and based on the hugely popular podcast series Bad Gays, subverts the notion of gay icon and queer heroes and asks what we can learn about LGBTQ history, sexuality, and identity through its villains and baddies. From the Emperor Hadrian to notorious gangster Ronnie Cray, the authors excavate the buried history of queer lives. This includes fascist thugs, famous artists, austere Puritans, and debauched bon viveurs, imperialists, G-men, and architects. Together, these amazing life stories expand and challenge the mainstream assumptions of sexual identity. They show that homosexuality itself was an idea that emerged in the 19th century and that its interpretation has been central to major historical moments of conflict from the ruptures of Weimar Republic to red baiting in Cold War America. Amusing, disturbing, and fascinating, Bad Gates puts center stage the queer villains and evil twinks in history. All right, Hugh Lemmy, congratulations. What do we have next? The winner of the best graphic novels and comics is Alice Oseman for her book Heartstopper, Volume 4. Heartstopper, Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. Boy meets boy, boys become friends, boys fall in love, the best selling LGBTQ plus graphic novel about life, love, and everything that happens in between. This is the fourth volume of Heartstopper for fans of The Art of Being Normal, Holly Bone, and Love, Simon. Charlie didn't think Nick could ever like him back, but now they're officially boyfriends. Charlie's beginning to feel ready to say those three little words, I love you. Nick's been feeling the same, but he's got a lot on his mind, not least coming out of to his dad and the fact that Charlie might have an eating disorder. As summer turns to autumn and a new school year begins, Charlie and Nick are about to learn a lot about what love means. Heartstopper is about love, friendship, loyalty, and mental illness. It encompasses all the small stories of Nick and Charlie's lives that together make up something larger, which speaks to all of us. There is the fourth volume of Heartstopper, which has now been optioned for television by Seesaw Films. Congratulations, Elise. And the next book, poetry. I'm kind of curious about this. The best poetry book, the best poetry awards goes to Amanda Gorman for her book Call Us What We Carry, with 44,813 votes. Call Us What We Carry by Amanda Gorman. Formerly titled The Hill We Climb and Other Poems, Amanda Gorman's remarkable new collection reveals an energizing and unforgettable voice in American poetry. Call Us What We Carry is Gorman at her finest, including The Hill We Climb, the stirring poem read at the inauguration of the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden, and bursting with musical language and exploring themes of identity, grief, and memory. This lyric of hope and healing captures an important moment in our country's consciousness while being utterly timeless. Congratulations, Amanda. And the next category is debut novel. And the best debut novel awards goes to Bonnie Garmus for their book Lessons in Chemistry. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. Chemist Elizabeth Zott is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing as an average woman. But it's the early 1960s, and her all-male team at Hashtags Research Institute takes a very unscientific view of equality, except for one, Calvin Evans, the lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize nominated grudge holder who falls in love with all things her mind. True chemistry results. But like science, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at Six. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, combine 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy. Because as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook, she's daring them to change the status quo. Laugh out loud funny, shrewdly observant, and studded with a dazzling cast of supporting characters, Lessons in Chemistry is an original and vibrant as its protagonist. All right, Bonnie, congratulations. And the next category is for the best young adult film. Did I say it film? Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm kind of curious how many of these are there because, just maybe 2 more because I gotta go. All right. The best young adult fiction book award goes to Jennifer Lynn Barnes for her book The Final Gambit. The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Everybody's fortune, life, and loves are on the line in the game that everyone will be talking about. To inherit billions, all Avery Kyle Grams has to do is survive a few more weeks living in Hawthorne House. The paparazzi are dodging her every step. Financial pressures are building. Danger is a fact of life. And the only thing getting Avery through it all is the Hawthorne brothers. Her life is intertwined with theirs. She knows their secrets and they know her. But as the clock ticks down to the moment when Avery will become the richest teenager on the planet, trouble arrives in the form of a visitor who needs her help. and whose presence in Hawthorne House could change everything. It soon becomes clear that this is one last puzzle to solve, and Avery and the Hawthorne brothers are drawn into a dangerous game against an unknown and powerful player. Secrets upon secrets, riddles upon riddles. In this game, there are hearts and lives at stake, and there is nothing more Hawthorne than winning. Awesome. Congratulations, Jennifer. And the next category is for the best young adult fantasy and science fiction book, and the award goes to Victoria Schwab for her book Gallant. Gallant by Victoria Schwab. Everything casts a shadow, even the world we live in, and as with every shadow, there is a place where it must touch, a seam where the shadow meets its source. Olivia Pryor has grown up in Maryland School for Girls, and all she has of her past is her mother's journal, which seems to unravel into madness. Then a letter invites Olivia to come home to Gallant. Yet when Olivia arrives, no one is expecting her. But Olivia is not about to leave the first place that feels like home. It doesn't matter if her cousin Matthew is hostile or if she sees half formed coals haunting the hallways. Olivia knows that Gallant is hiding secrets, and she is determined to uncover them. When she crosses a ruined wall at just the right moment, Olivia finds herself in a place that is Gallant, but not. The manor is crumbling, the goals are solid, and a mysterious figure rules over all. Now Olivia sees what has unraveled generations of her family and where her father may have come from. Olivia has always wanted to belong somewhere, but will she take her place as a prior, protecting for world against the master of the house? Or will she take her place beside him? Congratulations, Victoria. And the next category is seeing if there. Okay, there seems to be like quite a few. Okay, I thought at some point it's gonna be like they're gonna stop, which was actually this point. All right. The next category is the best middle grade and children's book. And the winner is Andy Powers for the book I'm Quite, a story for the introvert in all of us. I'm Quite, a story for the introvert in all of us by Andy Powers. Emily is not shy. Emily. Emile is not shy. He is quiet. Emile may seem timid and shy on the outside, but on the inside, he is busting. Okay. Take a step back. All right. I'm Quiet, a story for the introvert in all of us by Andy Powers. Emile is not shy. He's quiet. Emile may seem timid and shy on the outside, but on the inside, he is bustling with imagination. While grown ups and even other kids may see Emile as the shy kid who doesn't raise his hand in class, we know that Emile is actually a high seas adventurer, a daring explorer, and a friend of to wild beasts. This story honors and encourages the beauty of knowing ourselves for exactly who we are. Emile's world shows us that the mind of a quiet child can be as rich, expansive, and bold as that of any other more extroverted child. Congratulations, Andy. And well, that's that's the last book in the Goodreads Choice Awards for 2022, and that's been kind of interesting. I mean, like I said, I haven't read a lot of books in a past year or so. Uh, Maybe like back in 2020, I was reading about like one book every 5 to 6 weeks or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I gotta actually go back and check if I was doing that. But definitely the goal is to get to a place where I can read maybe like, 10, 12 books a year. So, and good quality books. And even if it's like those are long books, the goal would be to get faster, but at least start with that, right? Like it's an achievable goal, especially for like 200 plus 200 ish pages long book. Uh, yeah, please feel free to send any recommendations. I'm open. Like I said, like I love to read mostly nonfiction and mostly geared towards like actionable steps or um, self improvement. Yeah, that word is kind of thrown around a lot, but also maybe the opportunities in front of us, like different point of view about like technology and culture and whatnot. Like all of those are fascinating, and maybe I'm gonna go back and read like some of the classics. Fiction books as well. So maybe I gotta. Actually, I was in the middle of reading 1984, so I gotta go back and finish that. But yeah, this has been awesome and educating to a degree, and I can't wait for the next session, which we'll probably gonna be doing on Monday. So yeah, until next time,